Yo, what's up? Welcome back. This is your boy, Sir Reggie, aka the psychologist of rap. Have you ever had a bad day? Have you ever just wanted to say, fuck it? You know, I feel very sorry for our society because so many of us are not able to really express ourselves. To say that we're having a bad day, if we show up to work, we're told to, check our feelings at the door. And I can understand that. That is how come I also believe that you should be doing something that you love, because whatever you're doing can also be a type of therapy for you. So this beckons the question, what is rap therapy? We hear that term, and there are more and more people, more and more counselors, social workers that are starting to get into rap therapy. If you go back to the 90s, for example, you have scholars like the great Trisha Rose, who wrote a book called Black Noise. And in that book, she sort of talked about how hip hop had been birthed through the sociological plight of the Black Americans and the Latinos in the inner city. And it was an expression, an artistic expression of their frustrations and troubles and injustices. And she did a wonderful job. Who knew that in the 90s you could actually get a PhD in hip hop? But it sort of goes to show you that, that we were sort of headed in the right direction of trying to build scholarship around our movement. Um, but for me, I just want to keep it simple. I define rap through two different definitions. First, there is rhythmic American poetry. So if you turn on the radio, you see, or I should say, you hear different artists, rapping, rhythmically rhyming over a beat, blending words, spitting bars, rhythmic American poetry defined by the DOC. Shout out to the DOC. Then you have, of course, rap in what is known as straight talk or communication. A father might, you know, walk into his son's room and say, "Hey, listen, let me rap to you for a minute." That doesn't mean they're going to start making music. It means that they're going to have an honest, barriers down discussion about what's on their minds, what's on their hearts, and so forth. And so in rap therapy, I like my clients to really come as they are. If they're having a bad day, say you're having a bad day. If you want to curse, curse. Get it off your chest, vent. Institutions, as you know, they really sort of program us to constantly think about what they want us to learn. If you go to school, you learn about everything else except yourself. You'll learn about Shakespeare. There's nothing wrong with Shakespeare. You might learn about George Orwell, 1984, great book. You might learn about all of these other topics, home economics, which you definitely need, of course. You need to know how to cook. That works. In fact, I wish they would not have gotten rid of home economics at school. Math, science, all of these different topics. But do you know yourself? Now you play a part in the happenings of the world. Make no mistake about it, okay? I'm not here to diss education. I might have a problem with the institutions, but your education also is your business. Rap therapy is a way for you to educate yourself on you. You're there to learn about you, and nobody can write a book about who you are. A teacher can never tell you who you are. You feel me? You know that. So for me, rap therapy is learning how to communicate really with yourself. And you can't help anybody else until you learn who you are. So when I used to work at Western State Hospital in Tacoma, Washington, I remember we sat down at a meeting and we were asked by the supervisors, would we, what kind of ideas did we have for groups, and any type of activities that would allow us better communicate with the patients. And of course, I said prep therapy without question. I'm a huge hip hop fan, and to me, it was that hip hop consciousness that was beckoning to reach out to other people. So when these young people came to the group, we could use Tupac Shakur's "Dear Mama" to discuss the patient's feelings about their parents, whether it was abuse, neglection, drugs, alcohol. These feelings were based on the personal experiences of the patients, and those personal experiences are valid. The subjective world is very real to you, which is why a lot of people hate their job in the first place because it's not something that gels with who they really are, right? How many people really want to become, they want to do one thing. They might want to be an artist. That's just an example. They might want to become a shepherd. There's some people that, want to go into farming, but they're discouraged from doing that because society says that you should become a doctor or a lawyer. And if that's on your heart to become, and if you have a real feel for those things, then go for it. But the moment you think it, in hip hop consciousness, in rap therapy, we say you are, right? As a man thinketh, so is he, right? So you don't have to wait for a license before you think of yourself as a quote unquote doctor or banker. You may need the license, of course, to practice that at a company. Rap therapy is truly about how do we better communicate who we are, which is again something that people cannot really tell us. You can be a guide for me, but it's up to me to get to know myself. And perhaps I can do this through a number of different ways. I can meditate, I can keep a journal, I can go out into nature and I can walk or jog. I can, spend time with myself. I can read quietly. I can paint. I don't need a grade or certificate to validate my existence or the activities that I engage in. This punishment reward system, I believe, has been quite detrimental for many people. And of course, you have folks that are naturally gifted in academia. If you put somebody in a classroom, give them a book, show them the curriculum, they'll have that down packed, pass exam, and then they're on to the next thing. And that's great. But then there's some people that can't function in school. There's some people that are didactic and they learn best through trial and error, usually by themselves, usually alone, maybe even with a one-on-one tutor such as myself. They are encouraged and counseled into letting go and being free and learning to love themselves. And that's nobody's business except that other person's. I've taught business English for companies. I know that grades are required. If you do something, your employer is watching everything you do, just like your teachers did. And they grade you according to your performance, you know. But what we do in rap therapy is we use the model of the artist, which is to create and then create some more and see how that makes you feel. Get into the flow of being who you are, and then you use the language that reflects your inner being. There's nobody to impress. I prefer to work one on one or in small groups because we're not distracted by the peer pressure of the dominant group. A lot of kids, unfortunately, are bullied at school. A lot of children, they learn at a different pace. And I've never liked this idea that you can't learn by yourself. This idea that somehow you have to be in a classroom in order to learn. I mean, how presumptuous. No, no, you're learning all the time. You know, you're crossing the street by yourself. You are learning how your environment works every day. Your mind is taking mental pictures that help guide you through this labyrinth called life. If you hear a dog barking and the dog is angry, you know naturally to back away. You know, you trust your instincts. So rap therapy is about learning how to better trust your instincts and develop a deeper and more personal relationship with yourself. So that is how I define rap therapy. And yeah, I'm going to call this part one. What is rap therapy, part one? And I will make a second part and share with you some other points from from my perspective. So anyway, thank you very much. Again, excuse me if this was a little bit lengthy. Trying to get down my video recording time. You know what I mean? I know you guys don't have time to just be, sitting around watching videos all day, or maybe you do. Anyway, don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you so much again for your time, your attention, and please feel free to subscribe. All right. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. This is your boy, Sir Reggie, aka the psychologist of rap. I'm out. Peace.